Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thanks for coming to this event. As the time has come, we will have a seminar promoting climate change mitigation measures in agriculture, forestry sector, and blue carbon from now. My name is Atsushi Sato from Japan. I'm working in the field of land and things in terms of climate change in Japan, and I will be a moderator of this event. I will introduce today's event briefly. The event consists of two parts, the agriculture and forestry part, followed by blue carbon part. In the seminar, we will have presentations in each topic by representatives from governments, international organization, non-governmental organization, and private sector. After the series of presentation in each topic, we will have panel discussion and Q&A session. If you have any question about the presentation or panel discussion, please save them until the end of this event. Now, I would like to begin. We will have two opening remarks from the representatives of Japan and Brazil. Mr. Kentaro Doi, Vice Minister for Global Environmental Affairs, Ministry of Environment of Japan, will deliver the opening remarks on behalf of the organizer of this event.
I'm Doi Kentaro, Vice Minister for Global Environmental Affairs. On behalf of the Ministry of the Environment of Japan, I would like to thank you all for joining us in this seminar. I'm grateful that this event features not only numerous speakers from Japan, but also distinguished speakers, including the Vice Minister of Fisheries and Aquaculture of the Federative Republic of Brazil. Climate change is an urgent global challenge requiring worldwide action. To achieve the 1.5-degree goal, the international community must unite in advancing countermeasures. Achieving the 1.5-degree goals requires more than just effort to reduce GHG emissions. Activities for CO2 absorption and removal in forests, farmlands, oceans, and the other area are indispensable. In this context, I am truly delighted that we are able to hold this event focused on CO2 absorption and removal activities here today in the Amazon, known as the lungs of the earth. Next, I will provide an overview of this event. First, I will discuss the agriculture and forestry sectors. This March, a letter of intent of the recovery of degraded pasture was signed between the Federative Republic of Brazil and Japan. This LOI expresses the intention of Brazil and Japan to strengthen the restoration of degraded pastures and farmland in Brazil. Based on this LOI, a demonstration survey for a Brazilian degraded pasture restoration model in collaboration with Japanese companies is currently underway. Today, we have invited as a panelist experts from international organizations, the private sector, and the government, all of who are working on promoting Brazil's agriculture and forest industries. Next, the blue carbon sector will be covered by specialists from both Brazil and Japan. Mangroves, one of the Brazil's primary sources of blue carbon, serves as a vital bridge connecting the natural environment and people's livelihood. Japan's coastline is the sixth longest in the world, offering significant absorption potential. Since April 2023, we have calculated seaweed absorption quantities and reported them in our GHG inventory, a world first. Going forward, we plan to promote international contribution through capacity development in MRV and inventory calculation methodologies. Government officers from Brazil and Japan, together with experts from international organizations and the private sector, are participating as panelists. At this seminar today, we will discuss the importance of CO2 absorption and removal measures, and I hope the discussion contributes to accelerating global effort in this area. Japan remains committed to the steady implementation of the Paris Agreement, not only by reducing GHG emissions, but also by leading CO2 absorption and removal measures around the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Doi, for your opening remarks. Mr. Ribetora Edipo Araujo Cruz, the Vice Minister of Fisheries and Aquaculture of Brazil, will deliver the opening remarks. So, Mr. Cruz, you have the floor.
Boa tarde a todos, senhoras, senhores. É uma satisfação participar deste painel em um ambiente tão simbólico quanto a COP30 aqui em Belém do Pará, coração da Amazônia e ponto de encontro entre florestas, rios, mares e pessoas. O Japão é um parceiro de longa data na transformação da agricultura brasileira. Imigrantes japoneses contribuíram para o desenvolvimento agrícola no interior de nosso país e no Pará foram pioneiros da produção agroflorestal. Queremos criar as condições para que o Japão seja também um parceiro no desenvolvimento da algicultura, impulsionando padrões produtivos sustentáveis que gerem segurança alimentar, emprego e renda às comunidades costeiras. O Brasil preparou para esta COP30 um programa dedicado aos sistemas alimentares aquáticos, com mais de 30 painéis temáticos sobre mitigação e adaptação nos setores da pesca e da aquicultura. Nesse contexto, a algicultura emerge como uma solução climática baseada na natureza que concilia mitigação e adaptação com co-benefícios ambientais, sociais e econômicos. Sob a liderança do presidente Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, o Brasil reafirma o seu compromisso com uma economia azul, sustentável, promovendo desenvolvimento econômico, geração de renda e proteção ambiental nas nossas zonas costeiras e marinhas. A produção de algas contribui para uma restauração dos nossos ecossistemas costeiros, para a saúde dos oceanos e para a absorção de gás carbônicos e nutrientes em excesso e para a segurança alimentar de nossas comunidades. As algas constituem uma nova fronteira verde, com aplicações diversas nos alimentos, nos bioinsumos, nas fibras, cosméticos, farmacos, bioplásticos, tecidos biodegradáveis e energia renovável. No Nordeste brasileiro, o cultivo de macroalgas já desempenha um papel relevante na adaptação de comunidades costeiras que reúnem condições naturais e ideais e a tradição pesqueira de nossas comunidades. O Brasil possui 215 milhões de consumidores, setores alimentares maduros, onde nós temos 8.500 quilômetros de costa, mais de 600 espécies nativas de algas e milhares de comunidades que podem se beneficiar dessa atividade. Para ampliar o papel das algas nas estratégias climáticas, o MPA estabeleceu parceria com o Ministério da Ciência, Tecnologia e Inovação para desenvolver o inventário de gases de efeito estufas da aquicultura brasileira, fortalecendo a base científica desse setor. A produção mundial de algas triplicou nos últimos 20 anos, tornando a algicultura um dos setores aquícolas de maior expansão. Em 2022, segundo a FAO, o volume global chegou a 35 milhões de toneladas, com o valor de primeira venda de 14,7 bilhões de dólares. O cultivo respondeu por 97% desse total, mas toda essa produção permanece concentrada em poucos países, como China, Indonésia e República da Coreia, somando 90% de toda a produção mundial. O comércio internacional carece de padronização, embora o setor movimente fluxos relevantes. China, Indonésia e o Chile são os principais exportadores de algas secas e hidrocoloides, enquanto Estados Unidos, Japão e França são os principais importadores. Com investimentos relativamente baixos, há potencial para ampliar a produção global e fortalecer cadeias produtivas resilientes, diversificadas e ambientalmente responsáveis. Desde a 39ª Conferência dos Oceanos, em Nice, o Ministério da Pesca e Aquicultura vem ampliando o diálogo com a França, com Madagascar, Indonésia, Chile e organismos internacionais para fomentar a governança, participação social e inovação científica no setor. Minha intervenção tem um propósito específico: apresentar a Iniciativa Global das Nações Unidas para as Algas e o trabalho do Ministério da Pesca e Aquicultura para o desenvolvimento da algicultura e sua inclusão na agenda de ação na COP30. Amanhã, o ministro André de Paula anunciará a participação do Brasil na iniciativa. A Iniciativa Global das Nações Unidas para as Algas é uma plataforma dedicada ao desenvolvimento de normas e padrões internacionais, promovendo cadeias de valor, inovadoras, pesquisa científica, inovação tecnológica, uso sustentável de ecossistemas de carbono azul, financiamento azul e capacitação. Integrada atualmente por Chile, França, Indonésia e Madagascar, a iniciativa foi constituída pela UNDECAT e pelo Pacto Global das Nações Unidas, com apoio da COI, Unesco, Unido e a FAO. Conta ainda com rede de apoiadores institucionais como o Banco Mundial, a International Seaweed Association, a Global Seaweed Coalition, a Aquatic Foods Coalition, a Agência de Desenvolvimento da União Africana, CNRS e a Associação Escocesa de Ciência Marinha. O objetivo é promover práticas sustentáveis de produção e comercialização de algas marinhas e continentais, estimular o crescimento inclusivo com produtores de pequena escala e fortalecer a cooperação internacional e sustentabilidade do comércio, ciência e inovação. A presidência da COP30 decidiu incluir o cultivo de algas na agenda de ação da conferência como uma das soluções climáticas baseadas em ecossistemas. Trata-se da primeira COP a reconhecer formalmente a algicultura nesse contexto, valorizando pesquisadores, produtores e comunidades tradicionais e a inovação que nasce dos territórios. O Ministério da Pesca e Aquicultura elaborou para a conferência o Plano Múltiplas Soluções Climáticas da Aquicultura de Algas, que destaca as contribuições das algas para a mitigação, adaptação, conservação da biodiversidade, recuperação das áreas contaminadas e desenvolvimento de bioinsumos e biocombustíveis, inclusive para embarcações pesqueiras. O Brasil reconhece nas algas um símbolo de desenvolvimento sustentável que deseja construir. Com vasta riqueza biológica, ciência qualificada, comunidades tradicionais e vocação natural para a economia azul, o país se torna referência global na produção de baixo carbono e no uso inteligente dos recursos oceânicos. Investir em algas significa fortalecer cadeias produtivas sustentáveis, gerar empregos, ampliar a segurança alimentar, integrar comunidades costeiras e promover a justiça climática. É fundamental que o avanço das soluções baseadas no oceano seja acompanhado por equidade e inclusão social, escutando quem vive e que cuida das águas todos os dias. Senhoras e senhores, as algas simbolizam a conexão entre a natureza e inovação, entre a economia e a ecologia, entre o presente e o futuro. Temos a oportunidade de transformar essa visão em resultados concretos. O Brasil convida todos os países e parceiros aqui presentes a fortalecer essa agenda global. Precisamos unir ciência, políticas públicas e comunidades locais para fortalecer a algicultura e fortalecer a ação climática e da economia azul. Trabalhando juntos, podemos gerar benefícios reais para o clima, para os oceanos e para as populações que dependem. O Brasil está pronto para essa cooperação. Gostaria de agradecer a atenção de cada um de vocês. Muito obrigado.
Muito obrigado, Vice Minister. So we will have the two very informative opening remarks, and we will have now a photo session of two Vice Ministers. So please come to the podium. So thank you very much. So now we would like to move to the agriculture and forestry panel, forestry session now. So panelists, please come to the stage. Okay. So now we have 6 presenters from various fields. The first presenter in this session is Ms. Sham Sakor, the Executive Director of International Tropical Timber Organization. Her presentation title is ITTO's Effort to Address Climate Change in the Agriculture and Forestry Sector. So Ms. Sakor, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator, and a very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, to this amazing session at the Japanese Pavilion. Firstly, before I go any further, I wish to express my deepest gratitude to the government of Japan, as they have very generously supported the ITTO being headquartered in Yokohama, Japan, for currently 39 years. So we celebrate our 40th anniversary next year. I just wanted to say that very quickly. Oh, sorry, I'm just trying to get the hang of this. Okay, so who doesn't know who ITTO is? Most of our Japanese colleagues here would probably know who the ITTO is, and we are an intergovernmental multilateral organization born under the UNCTAD process, United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, and we currently have 76 member countries, 37 producing countries, and 39 consuming countries, including Japan and Brazil. We are governed by the International Tropical Timber Agreement, currently in its 3rd iteration of 2006. So So the world forest distribution clearly shows that tropical forests naturally dominate with 45% of forest areas, out of which is about 4.06 billion hectares, includes 370 million plantation species, and 1.83 billion hectares of tropical forests. So forests are naturally a nature-based solution, particularly when they are sustainably managed and sustainably harvested. The ways in which forestry activities can help climate change mitigation and adaptation are, as you can see on this slide. Firstly, carbon sequestration. Young trees and growing trees absorb far more carbon than old trees, which are prone to disease and also death. So this is a very easy, simple mathematical equation. Next, of course, is carbon stock enhancement. When you practice sustainable forestry, you are naturally enhancing carbon stocks. The carbon substitution, of course, in terms of increasing the use of legally produced and sustainably harvested wood products, would reduce the use of materials which have a far larger carbon footprint, such as aluminium, steel, glass, concrete, etc., etc. However, as the head of an international tropical timber organization, I would never advocate that all construction materials have to be made from only wood, because we will never have enough trees to do that. A combination of materials is the way to go. And in terms of GHG, greenhouse gas emissions, it reduces GHG emissions naturally again by reducing deforestation and forest degradation when forests are sustainably managed. And we are one of the most effective and cost-efficient nature-based solutions to climate change impacts through protecting coastal forests while we look after terrestrial forests, and also through sustainable tropical forests, they form natural carbon sinks. And our technical work, of course, on carbon projects have included the REDS program, which is very much actually on RED+. We have technical guides on carbon benefits, again, developed through projects that are implemented on the ground. And the purpose of the guide, of course, is to support forest managers in forest monitoring and reporting, again, implemented through ITTO projects. And the focus areas, of course, we cover scientific, technical, social, and of course, environmental aspects of forestry-based climate change mitigation. Now, this is an example. All the projects that I'm going to show you right now are examples of what ITTO has implemented over the 39 years. We have implemented over 1,400 projects on the ground with significant donor support from our donor countries, including Japan, of course. Now, this one was the restoration and rehabilitation of sustainable management of sacred forests on Ramsar sites in Benin. Ramsar sites, as you know, is the convention for the rehabilitation of mangrove forest areas and coastal forest areas. And this project contributed significantly because the sacred forests, and sacred forests don't only exist in Benin. It exists in many tropical countries, including my own home country of Malaysia. So the sacred forests hold biological, ecological, socio-cultural, and economic values for the communities that integrate all this into their municipality system. Some of them, of course, are community managed. It doesn't mean that they're not part of the local municipality, but it comes under the country's national plans for rehabilitation of these Ramsar sites. It increased income for the communities by 25%, and it enhanced stakeholder capacity and improved local community livelihoods. This project in Peru on capacity building for the sustainable management of tropical dry forests, which is also another element of terrestrial forest areas. The ecological and economic importance, of course, was very important for Peru. And through this project, we increase awareness, not just for Peru, but for all ITTO member countries to realize how important it is to look after dry forest areas, even though the number of trees in dry forest areas are far less. Some of dry forest areas can be arid, but that's the reason why they need trees to be cultivated in order to provide water resources and humidity to the areas involved. Now, this one, of course, this project facilitated multi-level dialogue, and also there was collaboration on knowledge and information sharing on forest management between all stakeholders. It strengthened networking and partnerships naturally, and in anything that we do these days, we look for synergies. We look for a lot of synergies with other international collaborators, and we try to do joint activities, which then has a better chance of increasing the impact. The next one is carbon substitution, which I mentioned earlier, through the use of legal and sustainably produced woods. And we have a programmatic line called Legal and Sustainable Supply Chains Program. And through this, we encourage the producing countries as well as consuming countries to meet every once a year, hosted by the Macau administrative region of the government of China. And we give them a chance to share information and exchange knowledge and ideas and how to actually value add even more so that the use of natural resources are optimized with minimum wastage. All this contributes to mitigation and adaptation in a very natural and cost-efficient way. And the sustainable wood use, we are running 5 projects at this point in investigating and exploring the need for domestic wood use policies. Just because we are an international organization, it doesn't mean we only focus on our producing countries' export markets and the consuming countries' import markets. It's not just that. Domestic use of wood in every country is equally, if not more important than what is destined for exports. And this one here in Côte d'Ivoire is for carbon substitution, where it was the rehabilitation of degraded forest areas in the Ahua Forest Reserve. And it was the transitioning from using wood charcoal to decarbonized wood charcoal. So it was the rehabilitation and regrowth of these forest areas, which are then sustainably harvested. And what was so attractive about this project, and we are running similar projects now in Benin, in Togo, is that it empowered the women communities in these countries. I'm not sure whether you're aware, but in Africa, a lot of societies do not actually acknowledge the official and natural contributions of women to society. This project and the ones we're running in Benin and Togo gives them financial independence and the opportunity to provide education for their children and a better livelihood in general. This was resisted by the menfolk at first, but when they saw the money coming in, they didn't complain too much. They loved it, right? Now, the GHG emission reduction, this applies to the whole range, the whole spectrum of sustainable forestry. This particular project in Guatemala was on a timber tracking system with the use of a simple app that can calculate the cubic meters of wood in a log. That tonnage then is deducted when that tree leaves the forest area. So the forest managers know how much needs to be replaced. Again, simple mathematics rule. I'm a simple girl. I like simple mechanisms, but very effective. And lastly, I think, oh, come on, move. Right, as I said, nature-based solutions. I won't focus too much on this particular project, which is, again, mangrove restoration and rehabilitation, because this comes under the second part of the blue carbon. And again, this was a wonderful project because it introduced aquaculture, just as the Secretary General from the Ministry for the Environment, Vice Minister Sir, and also the Vice Minister for Fisheries and Agriculture from Brazil. It supports completely what you're doing. And it would be nice for all of you to know that ITTO has been practicing blue carbon and green carbon for the last 39 years through the projects that it implements on the ground. So we are not newcomers to this whole game of the green carbon and the blue carbon. So the buzzwords come later. Our work came first. And the successes of those projects have contributed to what we all now know is being discussed in the international arena. And I don't think I need to tell you what goes beyond carbon, where the multiple benefits of forests are concerned. The most important is socioeconomic benefits and enhancement of their livelihoods, because we need to get all these people out of the poverty cycle. Incredible poverty does not help anyone. And without socioeconomic benefits, we can forget about the conservation of the environment, because the conservation of the environment does not come free, which is why in forest areas, you have the protected forest areas where there is no human intervention. And that is, of course, minimal compared to the production forest areas and the rehabilitation forest areas that are currently in process, right? And I think we need to support all these efforts. And I didn't put it down in this slide, but one of the things that I think the global arena needs to start thinking is the acceptance of industrial forest plantations to reduce the pressure on natural forests. It is already happening in some countries, but I think further support needs to be garnered for the countries that are attempting to do this, because it contributes to reforestation, afforestation, and allows natural forests to thrive. And I think that's all I have to tell you for now. And please connect with us. The QR code gives you access to all our work and all our publications. I thank you for listening. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, Ms. Saku, for your presentation. The next presenter is Mr. Katsumasa Hamaguchi from Sustainacraft Incorporated. Yes. So Mr. Hamaguchi, you have the floor.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Katsumasa Hamaguchi. I'm representing Sustainacraft, a Tokyo-based startup company. And today I'd like to talk about some achievements and activities from the project we are doing together with IDB, Inter-American Development Bank, as well as Conservation International Brazil. So, which is about scalable forest analysis to advance that Brazil's NDCs. So before we dive in, let me introduce a little bit about our company first. We are a Sustainacraft, a Tokyo-based small startup company established in 2021. And our main core services include due diligence and project origination support for carbon projects. And we work with project developers from all over the world, mainly in the field of nature-based solutions, NBS, especially RED and ARR, which is forest-oriented projects. And the point I wanted to make here is that so these services, like due diligence of forest projects, requires satellite data analysis. So one of our core capabilities is satellite data analysis. That's what we are talking about today. And sorry. So here's what we do. So as you may know, Brazil has a huge target of the nature and forest restoration. And the important thing here is that we really need to know whether that restoration effort is going well or not. So, but the challenge is that it's not really feasible to go to the field and just watch whether the trees are growing or not because of the accessibility issue and the high labor costs. So that's why now we are combining the initial survey data and the satellite remote sensing data and machine learning algorithm to estimate the biomass amount or biomass amount to monitor the vegetation changes on the ground. So, sorry, I keep going back. So briefly, this is the workflow we are following. So basically, the inputs we are using is the optical and radar data to measure nutrients, photosynthesis, leaf pigments, such and such. And our target is obviously this canopy height. And so there are some data, known canopy height data from measured by LiDAR. And we also use some other data like topography, slope, and et cetera to support data analysis. So combining these sets of data, we estimate the canopy height using the machine learning model, and we find the statistical patterns between satellite data and this canopy height. So based on this canopy height, now we can estimate the above ground biomass AGB amount based on the height biomass relationship. So using this workflow, we are now estimating the AGB amount in a particular area of restoration. So here's the brief results we are seeing so far. So on the left-hand side, in the outline in the red line, so these are the areas of restoration project site. And if we see the amount of the AGB, the ground biomass amount, we can see the increasing trend over the last 10 years. So this means in this project area, after doing the restoration activity, we are seeing the increase of the above ground biomass. So the question here is that, is this estimation really accurate? So what we have done is to compare our estimated data with the real data on the ground gathered by Conservation International Brazil. So if we combine these two sets of data, it seems they agree quite well. So this means the accuracy of the model output is validated and then indicating that this is really feasible to do this. So the conclusion from these results is that it seems like our model is working very well. Then because the cost of the satellite data is basically free, so this is really scalable, even beyond the Brazil. So we strongly believe that this is a game changer for advancing advancing forest agenda in every country. And we look forward to keeping working with Bruno and Conservation International Brazil to better contribute to the NDC of Brazil. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, Mr. Hamaguchi, for your presentation. So now I would like to invite next presenter, Dr. Bruno Coutinho from the Conservation International Brazil. Yes. Yeah, Doctor, you have the floor.
Hello. Good afternoon, boa tarde, konnichiwa. I'm Bruno Coutinho. I'm director for knowledge management in CI Brazil. I will bring our work with sustainable crafts. Well, yeah. Thank you, Japan Pavilion, to invite us, and also Katsu and all you guys here. Well, Katsu brings to us some technical contests, and I will try to bring some political and the application of this in our public policies here in Brazil. So the idea, Katsu says, is just combine field data, very good field data, with orbital data to have some estimations above ground biomass. But for us, with Sustainable Crafts, this is a research partnership to tackle some challenges here in Brazil. So like Katsu said, we have 30,000 hectares as a sample now to modeling to machine learning model to we'll be able to monitoring 12 million hectares of restoration as our NDCs in Brazil. So the challenge is if we implemented all the restoration goals that we have to do in our global commitments, what will be after this? We will need to monitoring this. So monitoring 12 million hectares in the field, it's not possible. So the solution is this Sustainable Crafts model. Thank you, Katsu, Hiroshi, and Julia, to bring this. We know that today we have other groups, other research doing the same things or similar things, and we want to put all of these groups together to bring a solution for the monitoring problem of 12 million hectares in Brazil. So Katsu shows that the model answer the questions that we have. The accuracy with the data that we have in the field with the orbital data is very good, and also for very smaller areas. So you can see here some field pictures. The solution Katsu shows to us, and this is the idea of amplification. We have here in Brazil the Restoration Observatory that aims to bring to one platform all the restoration initiatives in Brazil. And we think that this kind of of information that Sustainacraft is producing can benefit all of these partners because they will have near real time, a good diagnosis for your areas, but also if this kind of model we can apply on, for example, carbon certification on Verra or other, we can promote something like a revolutionary approach in the carbon market credits in Brazil, because these small owners, small properties, they don't have this technology to give to the carbon credit markets all the materials that they need to certification in our areas. So we have here some partners that are working together. Katsu representing us on Brazilian and Japan Economic Forum in August. We are very proud to work with you guys in Japan. Thank you, Katsu, and all the people of Sustainacraft. That's it.
Thank you very much, and muito obrigado, Dr. Coutinho. So the next presenter is Mr. Makoto Nagasawa from Fruta Incorporated. He will give us information on agroforestry. Mr. Nagasawa, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for inviting me and granting an opportunity to deliver my presentation today. And my name is Makoto Nagasawa. And I founded a company back in 2002 that had a mission to realize natural capital economy to agroforestry. The name Fruta means not a single fruit, but many species of fruit, reflecting our message that preserving biodiversity is essential. Under the philosophy of living in harmony with nature, we began our operation in 2002 with opening our juice bar in Kobe to build up our brand strategy, agroforestry marketing, to develop a market for Amazon superfood, focusing on acai. We then expanded into the retail business, launching full-scale sales to supermarkets and convenience stores around 2005, while simultaneously supplying raw materials to the food service sector and food manufacturers. We succeeded to lead the acai boom in 2010 in Japan and have gone public on the Tokyo Stock Exchange in 2012. By 2025, we have grown into the company with a market cap of 20 to 30 billion yen. And we take pride in being a pioneer of Amazon Foods in Japan, world's most challenging food market. Oops. Okay. We are bounded by a strong bond with Kamta, co-op established by Japanese former immigrants since 1929, one and only partner and a community of shared destiny. Throughout the long history of agricultural development, lasting almost 100 years, they have created agroforestry, which can be considered the culmination of polyculture. When we met, they didn't have a proper link to the market and gave us an exclusive right in exchange for launching a new company, which is Fruta. Agroforestry is a term that combines agriculture and forestry. I will try to explain the state-of-the-art farming system by comparing it with the conventional agriculture. Assuming that the conventional agriculture as a single crop or monoculture, conventional agriculture conventional agriculture practices in Amazon typically involves clearing of forest to develop agricultural land by slash and burn and logging, as you know, followed by large-scale monoculture production. However, due to harsh climate conditions and sudden crop disease outbreak, conventional agriculture often fails and the land becomes totally devastated. Then agroforestry starts from the degraded land. Multiple agriculture and forestry crops of different heights are planted in a transitional manner, creating a farm that grows into the forest in 25 to 30 years. Here people say 70% forest is restored over time. Not only for regenerating the forest, fruits that grows like wild to condition of competition and coexistence provide us natural and rich nutrients and flavors of the Amazon. In our agroforestry marketing, we highlight this value as nature's own supplement. The next slide represents the same transition as I explained before from the perspective of biomass. What I would like you to pay attention to here the yellow and the green arrows. The yellow indicates the biomass quantity, while the green represents the time frame of economic activities. The first half represents the period of conventional agriculture, and the second half represents agroforestry. As shown here, by single crop system, forest areas decrease as production advances, usually end up leading up to failure and total loss. In contrast, agroforestry demonstrates regeneration of forest as time goes by. Now you can clearly recognize the V-shaped recovery of biomass amount here. The most important point is that this regeneration of forest that absorbs CO2 is occurred by an economic force. Even with the same economic activities, single crop leads to destruction, while agroforestry achieves regeneration in Amazon. The greatest challenge in the marketing agroforestry products lies in their biodiversity. The characteristics of the diversity is the characteristics of the agroforestry itself. Industrial capitalist economy aims to maximize profits by selling single products in large quantities, whereas agroforestry must strive for the opposite because it is small lot and multi-variety production system, which is exactly the same as the natural mechanism as well. In other words, it requires wisdom of marketing on how to sell a diverse range of products and how to live with the biodiversity. That is exactly what it takes to agroforestry marketing. The strategy that we have arrived at is an alliance of role-sharing model within the industrial sector. This way, we can distribute the diversified products from the farm, because each raw materials is linked to a diversified industries that requires it. Therefore, the role sharing seems logically possible, but the issue is what gives them meaning to join the team and what serves as the incentives to participate in the alliance. Our answer is CO2 reduction and biodiversity restoration. Because large companies around the world currently are facing an obligation to reach CO2 reduction goals using the method of scope 1, 2, 3. they can reduce it easily by only shopping raw materials if such marketplace exists. Therefore, we have invented online platform like Alibaba to enhance the load sharing transaction with capability of CO2 calculation approach compliant with ISO and GHG protocol in terms of scope 3. And at this COP30 held in the birthplace agroforestry, we are set to announce the world's first B2B online marketplace platform named Scope 3 Neo that will issue certificate of CO2 reductions numbers. Producers can gain significant promotional benefits by having incentives added to their agriculture products. They will also be able to easily connect with clients around the world without marketing costs and efforts. In the future, we hope to enable producers to receive the benefits of carbon credit for their additional incomes as well. Buyers, on the other hand, will be able to easily find sustainable sources of raw materials online and obtain the advantage of reducing their scope 3 emissions, which would save enormous costs to achieve each company's CO2 reduction goal. But lastly, what matters most, in my view, is fostering a mindset of harmony with nature and a willingness to share it. This embodies the very spirit of Mutilan that Chairman Lago has put forward as the central theme of COP30. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. So I would like to turn to the next presenter, Mr. Hiroshige from Oriental Agro Corporation Company. So we have some technical troubles now, but I believe we can resolve right now.
Okay. So okay. Hello everyone. I'm Hiroshige from Oriental Consultants Global. So today I explain the progress of the demonstration trial, which Mr. Doi mentioned in previous. So this trial is implemented by the Japanese Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Fishery, as mentioned, the recovery of degraded pastureland. So today I will explain the 4 topics very quickly. Okay, to start the background of this project. So that project aims to support the Brazilian government initiative named Caminho Verde. The initiative aims to maintain the agricultural development in Brazil by utilizing the degraded pastureland, but completely avoiding the new deforestation. The cause of this degradation might be poor management or overgrazing or lack of the economic benefit. But to support this initiative, so we plan to develop the recovery model using the agricultural input from Japanese company. So So we conducted this demonstration trial as a first step to formulate this model. So this is a one-year project, and we are conducting the demonstration trial 2 times. The first time ran from July to October, and then I'm explaining the result of this first trial. So the below on the slide, so it's a biostimulant produced by 2 Japanese companies. One is from Ajinomoto do Brazil, and the other one is from the Asahi Biocycle. So these are biostimulants, and then this biostimulant work to promote the plant growth and help reduce the plant stress from the environment. The demonstration trial is being conducted at also Japanese private companies field, named YKK. So YKK is kindly provide the field for us for this trial. The next one. So these are photo of for the growth of sorghum. The photo was taken by 2 weeks. Next, please. And this is also the photo for the pasture. Also, it's taken by 2 weeks. Then I'm moving to the result. About the yield of sorghum, the left side, the yield in the Ajinomoto and Asahi CW1's plot were approximately 20% increase, better than the control. And for the pasture left side, that in the Ajinomoto plot, also we observe increase of the grass density and also increase the weight of the plant above the ground. So it's about a 90% increase. Then the rice and maize, so we planted both crop in July, but unfortunately they got damaged. So we replant these 2 crops in September. Next, please. So that for rice, just we measure that the growth. Then we confirm the better root growth, 30% better than the control in a treated area. And also in the picture, you can see that in the treated area, there are very good germination compared to the control area. And the maize, also it's sown in July. Also, it's better growth in Ajinomoto and Asahi area. So next, please. So we will continue this demonstration. So this is the plan for the second phase. And then in the second phase, we will scale up the area around 20 hectares in total. And the target crop is so soybean and maize and yeah. Okay. Then in the second phase, we also include a new material. It's a soratan biochar produced by the towing. The soratan is a biochar inoculant by the soil microbe. It enhances the soil capacity for fertilizer retention and also improves the soil physical properties to increase water retention or permeability. So moreover, this biochar has a carbon sequestration effect also. Then now, this demonstration, we are working with the Kamuta Corporation, Kamuta Cooperative, sorry. The towing are conducting a laboratory trial to produce the soratan using the Amazon soil microbe. And these microbe are inoculated onto the biochar made from the acai husk from Kamuta. So finally, I will explain the result confirmed through this demonstration and also potential contribution for GHG gas emissions. So through this demonstration, so we confirm that biostimulant could support crop growth and also increase yield. So in future, they can contribute to reducing GHGs emissions by decreasing the applying of the nitrogen fertilizer. And also, since it improves the tolerance to the stress, such as drought, so they can also contribute to recovery the degraded pasture under the unfavorable conditions. Then about biochar, so as Mr. Nagasawa explained, Kamta is doing the sustainable agroforestry without deforestation. So we can develop such high performance biochar, and it can help the Kamtas to develop their sustainable agroforestry system more effectively. And also, I hope it can help to expand this agroforestry system to other regions. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hiroshige, for your presentation. And I would like to say sorry for interrupting a few minutes in the beginning. So I would like to invite the final presenter of this session, Mr. Yutaka Kawashima from the Forest Agency, Japan.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yutaka Kawashima from Forestry Agency of Japan. Today, I will present Japan's climate actions through sustainable forest management and wood use. Okay. Japan's land area is about 37.8 million hectares, and forests cover around 70%, or 25 million hectares. A key feature of Japan's forests is high proportion of planted forest. About 40% of Japan's forest area, 10 million hectares, consists of plantation. Most plantations were established between around the 1950s and 1970s, using native species such as Japanese cedar, sugi, and cypress, hinoki. These species reach maturity for use in about 50 years. Sorry, this is something wrong. This one. Yes. Sorry. By 2022, more than 60% of plantations had reached their harvesting stage. Japan's forest stock has grown significantly from 1.9 billion cubic meters in 1966 to 5.6 billion cubic meters in 2022. In particular, plantation stock has increased sixfold, highlighting their growing role. For over 70 years, Japan's forest area has remained almost constant. Forest stock continues to increase, making forest major carbon sink. In 2023, Japan's emissions were 1.07 billion tons of CO2, while absorption was 50 million tons, 84% from forest. By 2040, forest absorption is projected to rise 5.1% above 2013 levels, reaching 72 million tons of CO2. Japan's Forest and Forestry Basic Plan, revised every 5 years, sets the direction for policy. The latest plan aims to achieve green growth, contributing to carbon neutrality while enhancing sustainability. Key measures include strengthening carbon sinks through thinning and reforestation, promoting wood use to create second forest in urban areas, encouraging innovation in wood-based materials and biomass utilizations. To achieve net zero by 2050, Japan promotes thinning and reforestation, expanded wood use in construction, replacing steel and concrete mid and high-rise buildings, development of new materials such as cellulose nanofiber and modified lignin, and cascade use of wood and biomass energy. Reforestation uses elite trees varieties for faster growth and better timber quality, increasing absorption and reducing cost. In summary, Japan's approach combines sustainable forest management and innovative wood utilization to support climate action. Thank you very much. Obrigado.
Okay, so thank you very much, Mr. Kawashima, for your presentation. So now all panelists in this part have finished. We would like to turn to the panel discussion about 15 minutes. So I will ask a simple question to each panelist. So please make a comment. So the first to Ms. Saku from ITTO. So I would like to ask one thing about the carbon substitutions. So you mentioned that the carbon substitution is one of the way of nature-based solution relating to forest activities. So I wonder that does ITTO quantify the mitigation effect of carbon substitution in your project? Please.
We have done a couple of projects that have looked into the quantification of carbon, but in all honesty, that should be a national responsibility. Governments should be doing that accountability so that it can contribute to their nationally determined contributions, because the cubic meters of wood that are utilized either in construction or affordable housing or in any wood use, actually flooring, panels, chairs, furniture, that should be quantifiable by the production units within that country. So yes, we would fully support the quantification of carbon in terms of mitigation as well as adaptation.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much for your comment. Yeah, that is true that we have the possibility to quantify that effect, but it is indirectly looked at the energy sector emission reduction, not in the afford sector. So that is one of the headache things for us. Okay, thank you very much. So I would like to ask to Mr. Hamaguchi from Sustainable Forest. So we understand that the forest monitoring can now be implemented in a more cost-effective and scalable way. So could you tell us a little more about your plan to accelerate forest restoration in Brazil?
Okay, thank you for that question. So now I think our model proves that we can efficiently monitor the progress of reforestation effort. But the next challenge we have is that I think in every region, people use different planting strategies and different planting activities. So we'd like to have data about what kind of planting strategy they're using, what kind of activities they are using, and combine that data with the outcome or results of restoration we are having. So we'd like to quantitatively measure the relationship with the strategies and the outcomes. So in that way, I think we can we better know what kind of strategy or what kind of activities are making a better results. So what activities yield what results. So we'd like to really know that relationships so that we can accelerate the monitoring restoration efforts in Brazil.
Okay, thank you very much for your explanation. Dr. Coutinho, I understand you introduced very technical issues. So is the tool you mentioned in your presentation able to estimate biomass volume using satellite observation data? Do you have any comment about that?
Yeah, hello. We think that the orbital observations will be better. We will have better resolution, spatial resolution, temporal resolution. We could see with this model that the response in the fields agreed with the analysis of orbital data, but the satellites doesn't do the work in the fields. So we need people to do this, we need people to give the data to the people that are experts to analyze this. And in the end, I want to say that the satellite observation is very good, but it's not a substitute for the people. So we need people in the field to drive the nature. And of course, the satellites will be a very powerful tool to monitoring.
Okay, thank you very much for your explanation comments. And then next panelist is Mr. Nagasawa from Fruta Incorporated. So you introduced the attempt of agroforestry in your presentation. So how do you reflect the additional values of agroforestry in your product?
Yes, what we are doing for the put the value added to the product is to use a showing the number of the CO2 reduction under the name of CO2 reduction level, and we disclose it by doing our special calculation. Now, which is simple though. We divided the total absorption of the CO2 coming from the forest-like forests of the agroforestry by total amount of the products yielding from the farm. That way we can get the number of the CO2 reduction for the ingredients. And then nowadays, it's not people like me, born in the 60s, doesn't want to buy any eco products if it is too expensive for them. But the young people like Z-Gens is likely to buy green products if it is really good for the environment. So it works right now, and that is why we use this kind of the label onto the product to be value added.
Okay, thank you very much for your explanation, Mr. Nagasawa. So, Mr. Hiroshige, so I would like to ask you two questions. So, in your presentation, you introduced the possibility of using biostimulants and biochar in the project. So, may I ask you what used as biostimulant in your case, and how do you expect to use biochar in the future?
Okay, thank you very much. So that's the biostimulant. It's for the Ajinomoto biostimulant was made from the amino acid from the sugar cane. It is produced from the process to produce the Ajinomoto's products. And the Asahi Biocycles biochar is mainly produced from the beer yeast. Also, it is produced through that they are processing to produce the BS. So biostimulant is not a normal fertilizer. It's like a supplement for the human beings to support the growth of plants. And for the biochar, I think if it's only the simple biochar, so the farmer couldn't feel some benefit to apply the biochar. So that I think that now we are developing the solar tank. It's have some function to support also growth of the plants. So then that's this kind of benefit. It can make some incentive for farmer to use more biochar. So I think such kind of the feeling for the farmer is important to apply the biochar in future.
Okay, thank you very much for your explanation, Mr. Hiroshige. So finally, I would like to ask to Mr. Kawashima from Forest Agency. So we understand that maintaining forest carbon sinks plays quite important role to achieve net zero in Japan in the middle term and long term. So could you let us know if there are any forest policies that have been launched recently and is used as climate change countermeasures Is there any forest mitigation measures that Forest Agency Japan is focusing on in particular?
Thank you for questions. I would like to share 4 recent forest policies and initiatives from Japan quickly. First, let me explain the background. Most of Japan's planted forests are privately owned and fragmented into small parcels. Due to aging owners and other factors, forest management has become a challenge. To address this, Japan introduced the private forest management entrustment system in 2018. Under this system, municipalities are entrusted with the management of forests which their owners are not able to manage appropriately, and those forests suitable for forestry management are subcontracted to forest managers, while managing other areas themselves to promote mixed species forests and enhance their multifunctional roles. Second, in 2021, Japan revised the Act on Promotion of Use of Wood in Buildings. This law expanded its scope from public buildings to all buildings and established the headquarters for promotion of wood use in buildings. Through measures such as Wood Use Promotion Agreement, and by designating a Wood Use Promotion Day and month, Japan encourages wood construction and public awareness. Third, to ensure secure, stable funding for forest management and disaster prevention, Japan enacted the Forest Environment Tax and Transfer Tax Act in 2019. Each citizen contributes 1,000 yen, approximately $6.5 annually, generating about 60 billion yen, approximately $0.4 billion nationwide. These funds are transferred to prefectures and municipalities for forest management and timber utilization and other related purposes. Finally, as part of an international initiative, Japan endorsed the principles for responsible timber construction in August this year. These principles aim to achieve both broadening in construction sector and sustainable forest management. More than 11 countries and over 300 companies have expressed support. In summary, Japan is working to strengthen forest management, promote timber use in construction, secure financial resources, and contribute to international sustainability initiatives. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Kawashima, for your very informative answers. So as we are running out of time, so I would like to finish the first session. So if you have any questions, I encourage you to contact one of the panelists after this event. So thank you very much for all panelists. And the panelists only for the first session, please return the seats. And new panelists to the blue carbon, please come to the stage. Okay, so now we would like to move to the second session, so about blue carbon. So the first panelist is again Ms. Sakura from ITTO. So she will give us the information about blue carbon. So Mr. Sakura, you have the floor.
Thank you again, Mr. Moderator, and I'm so sorry you have to listen to me once more. But as I mentioned earlier, we do both green carbon as well as blue carbon. And I just wanted to have a little bit more detail on one of the projects that I used in the previous presentation. But before I go further, again, I wish to congratulate Japan and Brazil for their letter of intent on the restoration of pastoral land. With ITTO's work, we encourage agri as well as pastoral combinations together with forestry. In other words, agroforestry, which also includes livelihoods, livestock, plants, medicinal plants, fungi, food products, supplements, etc., etc. And when I mentioned earlier about the acceptance of industrial plantations, yes, Japan has quite a vast area of plantations that could really be harvested and put to good use. And the secret with industrial plantations is that it must not be at the expense of natural forests. It can be on ex-agricultural land or ex-pastoral land, like what Brazil and Japan are trying to do now. So it all contributes to a sustainable bioeconomy, which is extremely important for all of us. Sorry, this is going the wrong way. Okay, now mangroves, as we all know, with the restoration of the coasts and for coastal protection, is an extremely powerful nature-based solution. It provides climate change mitigation in terms of carbon sequestration. It protects coasts and reduces disaster risk. Reduction of disaster risk. Yes, that makes sense, right? There is also coastal stabilization from the surge of waves and surge of increasing sea levels where land is sinking. It contributes and it provides habitats and biodiversity hotspots. Water quality maintenance also comes through, not just terrestrial forests, but also through mangrove forests. And of course, it provides livelihoods and economic benefits. So this is the project that we did in the Rewa Delta of Fiji. It is now in its phase 2 and almost completed. And the main successes that we saw through this project, and this isn't the only mangrove project that we have done, but this is the most recent one that is coming into completion. They planted 5,000 seedlings. The outcomes here again were it empowered communities on the decision-making with mangroves and how to use them. So there were some communities who wanted to ban the harvesting, but the majority of the communities wanted to continue the sustainable use because they are replanting at the same time. And the other thing is it enhanced food security through the introduction of aquaculture, as well as beehives for honey production, and also shrimp farming, fruit trees, and pig farms. So this is what we call agroforestry. And now, of course, the term pastoral forestry is coming into it. So it's part and parcel of all the same mix, which still contributes to the sustainability of the natural resource. The next is this project came up with guidelines to be used in Fiji on mangrove management. But these guidelines can be adapted and replicated anywhere else in the world with slight adaptation to endemic species and what can be done within the different mangrove areas of the world. In my own home country, we have a fantastic mangrove area which has aquaculture, fisheries culture, and the production of low carbon charcoal for fuel. And of course, the biggest impact here is the inclusive and sustainable mangrove development, which benefits the society with economic returns as well as environmental conservation. The one in Benin, of course, was on the sacred forests and on Ramsar sites in Benin. So this one also had very similar outcomes as the other one, where the degradation of these forests were restored, so threats to the ecosystem was reduced, and community livelihoods were very much enhanced. So it was a sustainable utilization of 40 different sacred forests. I told you earlier that it increased their revenues by 25%. It enhanced stakeholder capacity, of course, through knowledge and information sharing, and it integrated the 40 sacred forests into the municipal protected area system. Now, the next one I want to show you is, again, the reforestation of mangrove forest areas along the Pacific coast of Panama. Over here, it was collective conservation and sustainable management of over 4,000 hectares of mangrove forests and the rehabilitation of 1,250 hectares of degraded lands. This also contributed to the training and capacity building of mangrove-dependent communities in that area, also on sustainable harvesting techniques. 1.3 million seedlings and other multiple-use forest species were produced by community nurseries. This is extremely important because you need very good quality seedlings. There's no point in boasting that, okay, we've done 10,000 seedlings, but they're useless when you plant them and they don't grow. So the quality of seedlings and the quality of the clones that are produced, of course, requires science and policy interface. And then comes the socioeconomic benefits afterwards when the seedlings are productive, right? And so 650 hectares of degraded forest lands were allocated to agroforestry and reforestation with the multiple species. And 500 hectares of mangrove forest itself were rehabilitated through enrichment planting and reforestation techniques. The next one, which I quickly want to show you, is the one in Philippines. Again, this was with support from Japan's Ministry for Foreign Affairs, aimed to assess climate hazards and vulnerabilities across forest lands, because Philippines has been identified as one of the most disaster-prone areas in the Asia Pacific. We have seen the number of natural disasters that have hit the Philippines through earthquakes, through typhoons, through hurricanes, through flooding, through loss of life, and through land degradation. So what we are trying to do through this project is to look at the urgent needs that the Philippines need to both their forest ecosystems and the investments that need to be tied to them. Of course, that also includes their coastal areas. And lastly, I just wanted to say that ITTO supported the production of the World Atlas on Mangroves. And this is the first truly global assessment of the state of the world's mangroves. We are intending to produce an update, but of course, we need to have financial support for that. So we will do that most likely in the next 5 years or so. And the Global Mangrove Database and Information, of course, GLOMIS, has been implemented since 1997. And there are mangrove-related information centers located in the countries named there: Brazil, Fiji, Ghana, and India. And of course, the GLOMIS headquarters is in the beautiful island of Okinawa in Japan, which all of us know very well. And earlier, there were a couple of speakers. I thank the previous speakers, actually, for the insights that they introduced. And there were talks about how seaweed is now being generated as a very good, again, form of aquaculture because it's related to water, and how many countries, including Brazil, are ramping up their efforts on the production of seaweed. Now, seaweed can be used for many, many different things, but forgive me for saying so, but one very important element that's missing is the link of seaweed to health. The general benefits of seaweed to health. If you start a good campaign through some of the pharmaceutical companies, you will see how much the demand will increase. Because countries producing seaweed and algae for food is one thing, but how much algae and seaweed can people actually ingest as food? You need your natural foods also. So if you start promoting this idea that it is very important for health, because iodine is used for medication, and for women particularly, iodine is extremely important for the functioning of the thyroid glands. If you do this, if you say this is so good for controlling the levels of thyroid and the glands in the body, you will see how demand will shoot across what you ever expected before. And that's one way, again, of creating a socio-economic benefit for the communities as well as for mankind in general. So the last thing I wish to say is that urgent investments are needed, both in terrestrial as well as coastal forests, where there needs to be accessible and sustainable financial investments, meaning it needs to be continuous. And for the companies and the consumers who are actually investing into this process, I congratulate all of you for your hard work. And together, we can still make this grow. It's a joint responsibility for the global community. So again, I show you our QR codes and everything so that you can access our publications and learn more about what ITTO does for those who don't know us very well. Again, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Saku, for your presentation. So I would like to invite next presenter, Mr. Hiroaki Nakagawa from Nippon Koei Company.
Thank you for your invitation, and yeah, thank you. Thank you for your introduction and also invitation to this session. It's an honor to have a speech here. I'm Hiroaki Nakagawa from Nippon Koei, a consulting firm, providing the consultancy services for infrastructure development, including such as river, road, and including environment. And we also have a main project in abroad, not only in Japan, but also abroad. And yeah, related, including an ODA with JICA and other donors. Now, look at the picture of the island and see here. This is a photo in Seto Inland Sea in Japan. And you can see that the distribution of the seaweeds, sea plants bed here clearly. And then today we'd like to talk about the system which I'm developing for the blue carbon. Yes, okay, and blue carbon is one of the key options for the decarbonization. But we had that from private companies and also municipalities, local government, like they cannot find essential information, and also it takes time to get access to each information, such as elevation, water quality, salinity, and so on. So now from last year, we started and now developed a system to support them, support those kinds of the organizations who would like to have create blue carbon, that's a mangrove and seaweed, sea plants, and by providing the like a potential map for blue carbon. Let's see the user interface. Next slide. Yes. First, yeah, you can select the information which you want to know, and in this slide, yeah, habitat suitability index, like potential, is selected here, and then also, and you can visualize the distribution of the selected item. So for this sea plants, one of the species of sea plant was selected, and red color shows high potential for the sea plants, and blue is low potential. And also you can pick the point where you want to know to check the suitability. And for this, the score is 0.74 out of 1. And you can also compare the suitability with other selected points by parameter. And okay, so let's see whether we can reproduce the existing actual situation or not. The left one shows our output estimated results in the same area of the Seto Inland Sea. And right one shows the actual distribution observed by the satellite image. And blue circle shows the high potential area. And not perfect because there's some area of the zones for the fishery industry areas. But yeah, we believe that we can reproduce the high potential area somehow. And in addition, now we also try to have develop the system not only for sea plants but also the mangrove forest. So this is an example in Vietnam, and the left one shows our output, and while the right one shows the existing mangrove distribution observed by satellite image by Global Mangrove Watch with the support of JAXA. I had, and then yeah. But this is also we believe that we could reproduce current mangrove distribution, and then through this experience, we confirmed that elevation was the key factors, and as we expected. Okay, and last slide. Let's see the trial one in Brazil, in Belém here. White point shows the Belém, and then and left picture shows the elevation map, and red one shows high elevation while blue shows low elevation, and right one shows we also overlay the information of global mangrove watch in pink highlight. And yeah, you can see that on eastern side, mangrove are widely distributed across the low elevation area, while left one, western side, only limited mangrove can be seen. So yeah, in our northwest area, from there is Amazon River as the biggest river in the world, flow into this area. So large volume of the water comes from the upstream, and then yeah, salinity will be lower. So not only elevation, but we also have to consider the each information for each region. Yes, and now we have many challenges, but yes, including the technical challenge that I explained, but also how to create the carbon credit, and also how to monetize this project as a sustainable one. But yes, to overcome those challenges, we believe we can contribute ourselves to the decarbonization society and natural conservation of the natural resources. Obrigado, and thank you very much.
So thank you very much, Mr. Nakagawara. So I would like to invite next presenter, Ms. Chika Yamada from Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transport, and Tourism, Japan. Yamada, you have the floor.
Thank you very much for introduction. My name is Chika Yamada from the Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transport, and Tourism, MLIT in Japan. It's a pleasure to be here today. I will be presenting on initiative related to blue carbon in Japan coastal zone. Okay, first, we define blue carbon ecosystem like seagrass bed and tidal flow and port structure that all coexistence with marine organisms as component of blue infrastructure. We have long utilized sediment to conserve and create blue infrastructure. Contribution building to carbon neutrality and our richer marine environment through biodiversity. Okay. Here some example of blue infrastructure project in Japan using drug sediment. First is Kushiro Port in Hokkaido Prefecture, where seagrass beds were created on reclined land behind shallow water. Breakwater. And next, Tokuyama Kudamatsu Port in Yamaguchi Prefecture features an artificial tidal flood with e-glass bed. And last, Susaki Port in Kochi Prefecture. Uses steel slug block mixed with sediment from seagrass habitat. These examples show how we apply diverse methods to improve marine environment. We are developing a system to monitor seagrass coverage and estimate greenhouse gas absorption. This involves green laser drone, satellite-based measurement, and an amounted data aggregation platform. This slide is JBlue Credit. The further expand these efforts is the Japan Blue Economy Association, the JBE, authorized by MLIT, certified the amount of CO2 absorption as achieved through convention action with seagrass bed and others. This enables blue carbon credit trading contribution to the 2050 carbon neutrality goal. Sorry. Globally, carbon credit trading is becoming widespread, and in Japan, companies are also utilizing credit to offset their CO2 emissions. By quantitatively assessing CO2 absorption from conservation activities and certified it as stable credit, JBE enable voluntary offset by companies and created sustainable funding for conservation. I'm sorry. As part of Coastal Zone initiative in Japan, a transaction CO2 of 166 tons was conducted in March of FY 2024 with an average price of approximately $350 per ton of CO2. In Japan, the JBE credit system is not only a CO2 trade scheme. It quantitatively assesses CO2 absorption from conservation activities and certified and qualifies it as credit, thereby enable companies to voluntarily offset emission and creating sustainable funding for conservation. The JBE credit foster local partnership with fisheries, school, universities, and bank generation diverse values such as resource recovery, environmental infrastructure, and knowledge transfer to further generations. The value is reflected the quantity the certification of CO2 absorption, and through these two mechanisms, environmental improvement and enhanced value of regional marine area are being achieved. Meanwhile, buyers offset purchase credit to support and liberalize their communities by using them to offset CO2 from events or travel companies further enhance the value of these achieved. Then the credit not only focus on CO2 absorption, but only enhancing benefit for biodiversity of fisheries and local communities. In particular, they contribution positively to region fisheries, help create new income opportunity and strength collaboration with local communities. Thank you for the listening.
Thank you very much, Ms. Yamada, for your presentation. So I would like to invite the final presenter today, Mr. Kazumasa Nagamori from Ministry of the Environment, Japan. So Mr. Nagamori, you have the floor.
Thank you, Sato-san. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm honored to have a great opportunity to speak today. I'd like to show the government of Japan's recent activities on blue carbon in the context of the climate change strategies. and including how it's reflected in the new NDC. A point is Japan is the only and the first country that has set the quantitative target and blue carbon target in the both Japan's NDC and the national plan, global warming countermeasure plan. First, seaweed has been part of Japanese food culture for centuries, and it continues to be consumed widely across Japan. At the same time, environmental change and ecosystem pressure has caused decline in seaweed bed. Under such a situation, across Japan, a local community, a private company, and fishermen actively engage in conserving and restoring seagrass meadows and seaweed beds. This map, right one, shows a location where private companies are implementing the blue carbon project. This local bottom-up initiative form an important foundation for Japan's blue carbon action. Second point is blue carbon in Japan's NDC and national policies. Looking at the Japan new NDC, Japan aims to reduce its greenhouse gas emission by 60% by 2035 and 73% by 2040 target towards on the pathway towards net zero by 2050. Achieving this target requires a sector-by-sector breakdown, including measures for energy, industry, land use, and carbon removal. One of the key components of this pathway is CCS. Within the CCUS framework, Japan has introduced a quantitative blue carbon target in line with the NDC. It's 100 million tons by 2035, 200 million tons by 2040. Japan is the only country, again, that has set a quantitative blue carbon target in the both NDC and the domestic national climate change action plan. To move towards these goals, relevant ministries, including the Ministry of the Environment and Fishery Agency and the Forestry Agency, and the Ministry of Land Infrastructure, Transport and Tourism, are implementing the project, such as a demonstration project on the creation of seaweed bed. Blue carbon initiative in Japan are characterized by much benefit from climate mitigation to biodiversity, regional development, and environmental awareness. And they involve the multiple stakeholders, including government, industry, research institutions, and local communities. The third point is expanding the participation and the co-benefit. To further enhance blue carbon action, it's essential to involve not only local government, but also a broader range of private sectors. Fortunately, promoting a blue carbon delivers multiple co-benefits: climate change mitigation and biodiversity conservation, and fisheries and marine resource enhancement. So because of this diversity benefit, a growing number of stakeholders from public institutions to private companies are now able and willing to participate in blue carbon initiatives. I like to emphasize that Japan promotes the blue carbon not only as a climate measures, but also means to support fisheries, tourism, and food production and local livelihood. These multiple benefits are key drivers that encourage participation and ensure long-term sustainability. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nagamori, for your presentation. So we have about 9 minutes for this the event. So I would like to turn to the panel discussion on blue carbon. So like the first part, I would like to ask a question to each panelist. So please make comment. So Ms. Sakura from ITTO, so you presented the mangrove nature-based solution. So I wonder, in general, mangrove satisfy the forest definition, so classified as a forest for many countries, but it also referred as coastal ecosystems. So do you have any idea whether policy and measures about mangrove should be implemented as a part of forest measures or the coastal ecosystem measures?
Thank you for that question. Coming from the forestry world, of course, I would say it has to be part of the forestry policy for any country because terrestrial forests are inland and coastal forests are coastal. When you talk about ecosystems, sure, you have coastal ecosystems and you have inland terrestrial ecosystems. But when you have forests in both sides, why not make it part of your forestry policy? Then countries can actually have a better opportunity at recording a higher level or percentage of tree cover that contributes to climate mitigation adaptation while providing sequestration and sink facilities. It works both ways. So simple and straightforward answer. Yep. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your comment. Okay, so Mr. Nakagara, so you introduced MOVADAS in your presentation. So do we use this tool when planning the new seaweed aquaculture or seaweed calibration on the artificial basement in coastal area?
Yes, that we'd like to do, and we'd like to support the organization. And in addition, the mangrove forest reforestation of the mangrove forest, and also, other systems. Yeah, we can adjust our system to each, and then we can overlay each information, elevation, and water quality, and so on, by using some from satellite image and so on. And we have a booth about showcase over there. So if you are interested in, please visit our showcase. And yes, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for your valuable answers. So I'm really interested in personally. Okay, anyway, I would like to ask Ms. Yamada. Okay, so I think the J Blue credit scheme to be interested to many countries. So could you provide us with some concrete example of the blue carbon credit project?
Yes, thank you very much for the question. And today, made the additional presentation. So I explained this. Today, as an example of J-Blue Credit project is in Hokkaido Prefecture. The project typical reefs from recycled sea urchin shells help restore seaweed bed, create habitats for marine life, and boost blue carbon through CO2 absorption. The project is driven by local communication, local fisheries companies, and researchers using technologies like drone and underwater survey. In final year, physical years 2024, 5.5 tons CO2 were certified under the J-Blue credit and certificated like the shown here was issued. Please, next page. Okay, as part of the project achievement, the 2023 certification recognized 66.4 tons of CO2 absorption. Of this amount, credit were purchased by 3 organizations or companies. Naturally, 2.1 notably 2.1 tons bought by local fisheries cooperative were used to offset emission from the meeting, and press release like this, one shows here, was issued. So, sorry. These examples shows that buyer also contribute to environmental improvement through their purchase. Moreover, the fund generated rain-based as opportunities capacity for the participants achieves in the following years. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Yamada, for your explanation about the two examples of each case. So I would like to ask to Mr. Nagamori, what area will Japan focus on particularly in the blue carbon sector going forward?
Thank you for your question. It's indeed important to involve the various stakeholders, in particular private companies. So even now, our private companies in Japan are interested in the blue carbon activities because these activities contribute to the local economies, and the private companies would like to contribute to the local communities where their office and factories locate. So by encouraging more private sector participation, we hope to create wider effect and further accelerate blue carbon actions nationwide by increasing the momentum for blue carbon activities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nagamori, and thanks again for all panelists about your valuable comments. So I have now 4 minutes. So I would like to take one question if someone has. So please raise your hand if you have a question. No? Okay. Then I encourage you to contact the panelists or presenters after this event. So now I would like to summarize today's event and what I heard today. So the use of carbon sinks used to be treated as the second-class mitigation measures in the Kyoto Protocol era. However, now we have the net zero target for all countries and also the global levels. So the both reducing emissions as well as enhancing or maintaining removals need to be promoted in achieving net zero in the future, both land as well as coastal areas. So we learned many attempts have been implemented in agriculture, forestry, and blue carbon ecosystems all over the world, including Brazil and Japan and other countries mentioned in the presentations. And I would like to reiterate the importance of these policies and measures and actions, not only GHG, but also other multiple benefits. So I hope that the cooperation in this field will be further strength. So I would like to say the final remarks now like that. So now I would like to declare the meeting adjourned. So thank you all for your participation of this event and have a nice afternoon. Cheers.